In this lesson, we're going to cover how to draw the front view of the manga or anime face. Anime just being the animated Japanese animation, and manga being Japanese comics. So really, it's the same style of drawing. The first thing we're going to do here is we're going to use this template here. And the template is basic. So how it works is you draw a circle. I recommend drawing with your whole arm, not with your wrist. Divide that circle in half, both horizontally and vertically. Take this distance from here to here, divide it in half again. That's actually roughly where your eyes are going to go, but if you want to get more precise, you can divide this in half again, divide this in half down here, and your eyes are actually going to go in this section here and in this section here. It really just depends on how big you want to make your eyes. You can make them very, very big or not very big. You know, a different style would require you to come way down here, and then the nose is here. Anyway, either way, the nose usually always ends up here. And if you want to make it look younger, I have this one here, which is a slight difference, almost exact same template, just a little bit different. And all it does is just take all the features and squishes them more together. On this template here, you draw the eyes down on this line, whereas if you want to make it more adult-like, you draw the eyes up on this line. So it's really just a longer nose is what happens. Once you have that done, you take the distance, basically the halfway point from here to here, and you just kind of take it, and a little bit less than that is where you're going to have your chin. You can actually make an actual pointed chin or just a slight small rounded chin that's almost a point. I like the slight small rounded chin that's almost a point look better personally, but it's really just up to you and the style that you want to go for. The nose is going to fit into this area here. The mouth will fit close to the nose. And it's usually very simple like this. We'll get into how to draw different kinds of manga noses and mouths and eyes, but first we want to go ahead and nail down the proportions of the head. Next thing is imagine a line that's coming straight across right here where the nose is at, or maybe even a little bit lower if you want to. And then imagine lines coming straight down, like so, and then kind of divide, like come down to the chin like this, and you can see these two lines kind of just divide in half right between there. And that right there pretty much gives you the angle of the jawline. So if you need something to go by at first, that's one way you can do that. And then you're going to go ahead and pull down to the chin. And I like to round this off a little bit more. So after you do a straight line, take this all and just kind of round it off a little bit like that. Make it a little bit wider than what the straight line would be. This is more for the adult face. How far away the neck is up to you. There's tons of different styles out there, and there's no way to cover all of them. But some of them will have the necks really close together. Some will have them farther apart. And really, it's up to you to decide what you want your manga to look like. Now, one thing I would do is I would just slightly alter this here. I'm just going to kind of alter where my eye sockets are going to be so that they have the same amount of space on each side of the head over here. Then you kind of pull the top of the head up, and I usually pull up a little bit taller like so, because you have in manga the main thing is you have more room above the eyes than you do below the eyes. And if you want, you can even take this chin and make it a little bit smaller like right here, and then pull this line and then come here for the face. You'll get a slightly different look. So depending on the style you're going for, you really just alter this. This is the formula you alter right here, and you'll get all different kinds of manga. This will look more younger. If I left the face longer like it was before, I would have a slightly older look, and now I have a slightly younger look here. And that's it. That's it for the measurements. And you actually want to memorize. You want to memorize these measurements here because these measurements are going to help you when drawing manga. If you don't have this down right, then the manga won't look right. Manga it's not an easier form of drawing. It's a simplification, but sometimes to me, it can even seem harder than like drawing my typical comic way. Now, believe it or not, this right here is actually a manga style. It is from a Japanese comic called Blood the Last Vampire, and it actually has a very kind of how I draw American comics, very similar. The chin's pretty tiny here, but I took that exact same face, redrew it here with more typical manga features, and already the face looks like a different kind of style. And if you take that exact same face right here and make the eyes a little bit bigger and add like more typical manga features like this here, it looks almost identical to this. So that's really what changes is the features inside the face, not so much the face. But typically, the eyes are lower down on the face in manga. That is, they have bigger hair up here. And then I just draw this halo, and I come down here. I'll go over to my hair technique here when we get into the hair. and that's it right there, and that would cover the face, and we can turn that into that person there very easily. I'm going to go ahead and speed up and do that really fast, and then we're going to get into just how to modify this to become more of a childlike face like these faces down here, and then how to another interesting formula to use real quick to get the chibi style. It's a formula I came up with that I really like. And that'll be it for how to draw the face from the front view once we do that. So let's go ahead and speed up through this really fast here. I'll make a new layer. All right, so go ahead and speeding up here and go and inking it in. Again, we'll go through how to draw different types of eyes and stuff like that, but you might learn some from some of the techniques I learn here when I'm drawing the eyes in these sped up views. And so also we'll learn how to draw hair and some cool different techniques that I use to draw hair for both American and manga comics. And there you go, just add a little bit of cute little smile to her, and then add the glistening to their eye, and she's almost done. We'll add some hair to the bottom. And there you go. So it's really easy once you get it down, and once you have the proportions down, it's just a matter of plugging in the parts. And so we'll learn different noses and mouths and eyes and stuff in a little bit. All right, and then that's it. Notice how this one looks slightly older than this one. The main reason why is all I did is I shortened the chin a little bit and then raised the mouth. Actually, I didn't even raise the mouth. I just shortened the jaw line. I made the chin a little bit shorter and then pulled the line based on that, and that's it. And that made her look a little younger than this one here. And so if you follow those guidelines for that front view, you can get anywhere from a kind of a teenager look to more of an adult look. And also, when you get more teenager, make the eyes a little bit bigger. More adult, make them a little bit smaller. And then if you want to make it look really childish, make the eyes really, really big, almost like the oval style eye. And we'll go into those different kind of eyes. And then you can also still do a kid though without having to make the eyes super big. Another way to do that is what I'm going to show you now, and that's using this template here. It's very similar, but you get a slightly different look in the end. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that face there as an example of, I'll leave it here for the template for you guys. Right, so next thing is let's go ahead and draw this style here, and then it's just a mix of these different styles and changing them to get men. So, for example, you can take the exact same template right here and get a male. All you have to do is when you draw the features, just make sure that when you draw the features in here, that you draw male features. That's all you have to do. Maybe make the chin a little bit longer. Um, you want to draw the eyes usually a little bit smaller. And it really just depends on the style of manga that you're going for. And we'll go through different kind of eyes and stuff like that that you'll see most common in manga. Maybe even maybe make the eyebrows closer. And this is also true for American comics, is you'll make the eyebrows closer to the eye, and that gives you more of a masculine look. And you really have the same kind of noses and mouths for men usually. Sometimes you get it more realistic. Just depends on the type of manga that's being drawn. I might not make his chin that far down, but another thing I might do is bring these lines out just a little bit more straight, like so, and then come in here like this. You can come to a point even with the males, and then typically males will have a slightly bigger neck, and that makes them look, older if you're doing an older male. And then often the mouths will be the same, maybe a little bit wider, but they're pretty much the same as the female. And then, just whatever hairstyle they have. Maybe they have, oftentimes you'll notice in manga that guys and girls will have this kind of crazy hairdo where the all spiky, and guys will get more messy usually at the top here. It just depends, on the style of manga. Sometimes I might have a little bit of hair down here, um, sometimes not. And notice that right there already starts to look more male-like. So that's all you have to do to make a masculine-looking face. Right, so once you know how to draw a female, you know how to draw a male. It's just plugging in male parts, and that's it. So let's go ahead and take this diagram here and figure out how to do it. So all you do is you start the same way, circle, cut in half. By the way, you can use this exact same formula to draw American comics. I would actually draw the eyes right in here on American comic, and this is a matter of the shape you give it, which is more like that, and they're smaller. Nose still goes here, mouth goes here, chin still pretty much goes same place. You bring that down a little bit further, and then you got American comic. But this is about manga. I just want to show you can easily use this formula for that. Right, so then you want to take this now and divide this in half right here. And I'm doing this very quickly, so divide this in half up here and this in half right here. So you have like 4 areas to work with. And then you want to take the length here is basically from here to here instead of half of it. So you're taking like from this line here to here, and you're going to kind of make it right about here. So it's a much shorter chin. You can actually get away with giving the same length of chin as an adult though. The main difference is, you see the line up here where you make the curve of the mouth? You're going to make it right above the mouth now. So just go down a little bit further below where the nose is going to be, and we're going to draw our line going across right here. And so the main thing with this one here, we're going to bring the eyes, make them larger, and they're going to come down to, they're not going to be much larger. It really depends. You don't have to make them that much larger. They can actually be pretty much the exact same size as what we drew before, and you're still going to get this kiddish look. And the reason why is you're drawing the eyes lower on the circle. These are higher on the circle, these are lower on the circle. And therefore it crunches the nose up closer. I'm going to do this kind of one triangle nose here. It crunches the nose closer to your eyes, or crunches the eyes closer to your nose, however you want to look at it. Same thing here, you go from the outer edge of the circle, come down to this line, and one thing I did right here with the green lines, if you wanted to do that, is make a straight line coming from the edge of the circle to this point right here, then make a straight line coming down like this, and then you pretty much just divide that in half so there's equal space on each side here of the triangles, and that pretty much gives you the angle that you're looking for. So that's just a little trick you can do when you're first measuring and starting out, and it should help you in drawing your faces. Now this right here is just a sketch, so you'll ink over this anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And I'm going to slightly round it out here and come to a point. Notice I'm not going straight like this. I'm slightly rounding out. So if I first make a straight line going across, just slightly make that a little bit bigger and round it off. And that's going to give you the proper shape of the face. You know, nailing down these proportions and getting the proper shape of the face is what's going to ultimately give you your nice manga style. That's the main thing. And if you get that wrong, you know, manga readers will definitely notice it. The main other difference here is the ears are going to be much lower now on the head like this rather than up here. And notice you have all this room up here, and this is where all the hair is going to fit in right here. Now we can turn this to a girl or a male. Either way, it's really easy. So I'm going to do here, make a new layer. I'm going to make a vector layer this time. I'm going to ink this in. I'm going to speed it up and ink it in. I'll make both a male and both a female out of the exact same template so you can see that it's done either way. It's just really changing the features. Now you can see this is kind of like almost androgynous, like it's kind of like that can be both a male or a female, and you get that a lot in manga anyway. But notice how there's a lot more space between the chin and the nose and the mouth, and everything. So one thing you could do is we can go back to where we were before, and just erase all this right here, and then simply take the point and say that's where we want the point to be now, and then we just round it off to that lower point. And now you get even a more kitty type face. It really just depends, you know, how young do you want this person to look? And now we got a much younger person just by shortening that. And maybe you don't even want to do a bottom lip at all, and you might want to make the mouth smaller. It's up to you. All different kinds of styles. So there's one. We're going to put that up there for right now. Okay, now if we take this exact same thing, go over it again with another layer, and this time we're going to make it to where it's a female. And there'll just be some slight alterations to make it female. And first thing I'm going to do here right off the bat is I'm going to take these lines, and now I'm going to make a shorter chin before I speed up the video. Maybe make the neck a little bit. All right, so as you can see, we have a very different look here, and you can see that my style is kind of coming through here with some of these drawings. Everyone kind of just starts developing their own style as they go along. You might see something like this more common, and I tend to make it more like this. So it really depends on the style you're going for. You can easily get the style. All you have to do is just change the type of eyes you're drawing, and then the mouths. That's really all there is to it, to that style. Right, and so last but not least, what we're going to do here for this front view is we're going to learn how to do the chibi style and a little cool trick that I like to use when doing the chibi style. And it goes something like this. So first thing you're going to do is draw two oval circles like this. And these two oval circles are going to kind of fit into an overall big circle. So you kind of take a circle and then put two, not quite a circle, more of like an oval. It's like a kind of a squashed circle. In this lower area is where we're going to have all our features. So our eyes are going to fit all into here, like so. And there's so many different types of chibi out there and chibi eyes, so the nose will just be a little dot usually here in between the eyes. And notice it's like higher than the eyes itself. And then the mouth, you can give her like a smiley mouth. I'm going to give her a little smile here like this. A little bit of bottom lip. And then from here, you kind of come more straight down almost from this outer shape right here. You're kind of coming almost straight down. Make the chin very tiny, just barely below. So it's like this. And this is giving you that really, kind of like almost doll look. Usually you don't draw ears on, you can, it's just up to you. So they're going to be low like this here, if you do draw the ears. This is a matter of drawing the eyes. So the eyes are usually huge, nice big ovals like this. And this really lends to a really cute kind of character. And you can actually see sometimes they'll draw like a chibi character right into the manga comic book, even though it's not a chibi manga. They might have like one character that's a chibi style, or like a very very little person, little girl or something. Another thing you might see as well is that they might have a actually I don't want to cover that eye, so I'm going to just kind of come out here. Another thing you might see is that there'll be like a little, like one of the characters, for if they're really embarrassed or something like this, or showing a certain type of emotion. While they're showing that emotion, they might actually have this really kind of like chibi look to them, and they usually have a really small, like they'll actually draw the character in a chibi style. You can still kind of recognize the character is what they are, but they're in this chibi style, and it kind of just brings out the cuteness. And little eyebrows. I kind of like to angle them like little triangles, but everyone has different styles, so like so. Then you go ahead and just ink it in real fast. Right, so here quickly just drawing the kind of like evil character. So you can take the same formula, draw these kind of longer eyes. You'll learn about these eyes later when we get into how to draw manga eyes. And if you give him this kind of longer chin, notice right now it's not long enough, then we'll give him some kind of like hairstyle. Usually though, these kind of villains you see in manga and anime will usually have like long hair. But nonetheless, you just give him a long chin like that, voila, villain.